They sold drugs at a scale that felt unreal. A slick online storefront, flashy discounts, cheerful user reviews praising quick delivery. It looked like any other shop you might scroll through late at night. Only here, the items in your cart could wreck a life. Prosecutors would later admit it with a mix of shock and grudging respect. The operation ran with real business know-how. Logistics, marketing, customer support. Millions moved across wallets and drop points. A corporate playbook applied to crime. But our story does not begin with that empire. It starts with a fake vacation paradise. Two young men, hiding behind the names Ark and Yoko, spun up a website for luxury lake rentals. Visitors picked a dream Villa Lilla, paid from the comfort of home, packed their bags, and set off with sunlit hopes. There was only one problem. None of those homes existed. Ark and Yoko were not their real names. Behind the masks were Daniel B. and Aradius D. They met through a Darknet hub called Crime Network, a place where you do not stumble by accident. Rooms full of criminals trading how-tos and contacts the way ordinary people trade recipes. In a private chat, the idea for Villa Lux was born. Money flowed until June 2017, when the partnership simply stopped. Neither man knew the other had just been hit by a wave they could not see. The Mannheim prosecutor had opened a case into the rental scam, and the tide was already pulling them under. One defense attorney would later say it plainly. His client had legit companies with real revenue, big numbers. But the Darknet ties were strong. The forums were full of professionals in organized crime. Contacts made there were never clean. Within weeks, Yoko pitched another thread tightened. On December 17, Ark flew home from Colombia with a layover in Madrid. Police arrested him at the airport and shipped him back to Germany. Not for chemical revolution, for the fake villa scam. His earlier fraud was sloppy in one stunning way. The site looked professional, but he used his own bank account. That mistake cost him. He received suspended time at first, then a second sentence, combined into 3 years. None of the officers realized they had one of the two minds behind Germany's biggest online drugstore. On January 8, 2018, the BKA first flagged chemical revolution and opened a case. 2 weeks later, they scored a break, though not the one they expected. January 30th, Elma drove the A10 toward Potsdam. Rearview mirror, a car shadowing him. Wrong vibe. He grabbed his phone and messaged Yoko. Hours passed before Yoko saw it. By then, the damage was done. The shop went dark. Elma landed in prison. In custody, Elma talked, maybe to lighten his sentence. He gave up what he knew. 2 stash sites. One in a holiday flat in Ortenburg. One in a garage in Braunschweig. When the BKA raided, they hauled away staggering quantities. Nearly 48 kilos of amphetamine paste, around 19.5 kilos of marijuana, over 3 kilos of cocaine, almost 2 kilos of ecstasy. Street value near 300,000 euros and change. The deepest cut was yet to come. Elma pointed to Aradius D. The man sat in pretrial detention and soon endured a 6-hour interrogation. He told them everything he knew: network structure, roles, car descriptions, partial locations. He could name the main actor behind the curtain. It was all threaded through him. Why did he flip? He explained it from the start. A rare condition, HB-type savanna. His words painted a bleak picture. Organ failure likely. Shipping now pointed to Hamburg. Agents watched pack stations across the city. Weeks of nothing. Then, a cluster that felt wrong. The team traced identities. A contact named Sinan C, who linked Hamburg to Youssef in the Netherlands. A man named Jonathan K, who lived in a flat in Barmbek Nord. That flat became the new bunker. The BKA did something unusual. They waited. For months. They let the web vibrate and reveal its patterns. November 20th, 2018. The LKA raided Jonathan K's apartment. Not for him, but for his roommate. They missed the bunker entirely. They did not know the BKA was running a deeper game. One team nearly torpedoed the other. Around then, Ark walked out of pre-trial detention. He stayed in touch with the BKA and fed them updates. A defense lawyer would later describe his role vividly. He recruited couriers, sourced cars, oversaw shipments, negotiated with suppliers. The heart and soul of Chemical Revolution's logistics engine. Without him, much of it never would have worked. Early 2019, Aradius handed the BKA a golden ticket. Youssef and an associate wanted to move a heavy load. 2 undercover agents stepped up with codenames Bigun and Cora. They set the meet in a supermarket garage. One undercover rode along to the stash to inspect the goods. Then they loaded a Mini and rolled back. In the dim of the garage, doors slammed. A tactical team flooded the space. Arrests on the spot. Another piece removed. Yet the head remained a ghost. Yoko 7. He had erased breadcrumbs with discipline. He had retreated and rode about 26 minutes to Aschheim. He checked in. 13 minutes later, he walked out. The BKA was waiting. They moved fast, hands bound, eyes covered. No time for second thoughts. By the next day, a judge signed the warrant. What followed was a marathon. 39 main trial days over more than a year. The case splintered into 3 parts because the court refused to run one mega trial with everyone at once. Tension rose between prosecution leadership and the bench, but the split stood. The machine behind Chemical Revolution turned out to be a set of strangers who rarely met. Each person held a cog. Few knew the whole clock. Once the BKA understood the gears, the shop could not survive. Sales stopped. Pages vanished. The network fell apart. Each participant faced their day in court. In the end, one truth echoed through the courtroom. Without Aradius D, the structure would have stayed a shadow. No one else knew the head. No one else could have pointed a finger that mattered. Without his cooperation, the main architect might still be on a terrace somewhere, phone on silent, watching the horizon. Instead, the empire that looked clean and modern collapsed under the weight of a pizza receipt, a few selfies, and the fragile loyalties of men who built a fortune on secrecy. This was the rise and fall of Chemical Revolution. not a legend of masterminds, a cautionary tale of ordinary human flaws tied to extraordinary risk. Greed dressed up like customer service, innovation turned inward and used to ship poison. The internet can make any storefront look safe. The law is patient. It watches. It waits. And in the end,